This is CDI6 Activity 5. First question is, why must an investigator take photographs, make notes and sketches, and gather and record evidence? First of all, an investigator needs all of this information for them to have a reliable information and facts. And this serves as a valuable references concerning the details uncovered during the search and investigation. So next question is, how accurate are stop clocks in fire investigation? A stop clock is a method of telling when a certain disaster or event happened, particularly when a fire incident happened. But we cannot say that it is 100% accurate when it comes to investigation, a fire investigation, because a clock or this can also happen to individual timepieces to have been damaged, or kung dati nang sira yung clock na meron dun sa incident na yun, or nasira ito dahil dun sa fire incident na meron na yun. So, we cannot say that it is 100% accurate. Next question is, the depth of wood, charcoal at or in close proximity to the point of origin will help to establish what factor. Ano nga ba yung factor na sinasabi natin dyan? So, it is the depth of char, or which can be used as a reliable means of establishing a fire spread, yung pag-spread ng fire. So, next question is, how does infrared photography prove valuable in fire investigations? In fire investigation, we cannot see all things with our naked eye. So we use things like photograph or cameras or anything that or infrared, or particularly or specifically a infrared photography for us to see or this thing visualizes a gunshot residue or GSR, bloodstains or tattoos, obscured writing, and forgery, latent prints, and counterfeiting that is not hindi nababasa or visible ng ating naked eye. So this is a very useful tool for us to gather evidence when it comes to fire investigation. So next question is, how would you determine where the fire started? So in determining where the fire started, we have to identify its origin. So which we can say where the fire started. The next question is, what makes photographs very important in the field of fire and arson investigation? So, ano nga ba yung importansya nitong photography natin sa lahat ng investigation, especially in fire investigation or fire and arson investigation? So, ito kasi highlight niya yung kung saan hina-highlight niya yung location where the fire originated. Ganon din sa ibang investigation natin. Kaya natin pinipicturean ito para malaman natin kung dito nga ba talaga nakalagay yung evidence or yung evidence na kailangan natin para sa ating investigation. So, we go to the next question is, explain intelligently the legal requirements for preserving evidence in arson. So, these legal requirements of preserving evidence in arson: a fire investigation should collect two evidences or samples. Evidence samples, primary evidences, which are the primary evidences, and comparison samples. These are needed for preserving an evidence in arson. Next question, what are the circumstances that constitute prima facie evidence of arson? So, there are two circumstances under the prima facie evidence of arson, or if fire started simultaneously in more than one part of the building of one part of the building or establishment, and the second is if substantial amount of flammable substances of materials are stored within within the building, not necessarily in the business of the offender, nor for household use. Next question is, explain the methods and procedures of conducting vehicle and fatal or homicide fire investigations. We have different methods and procedures of fatal accident, vehicle accidents, fatal or homicide. So, and we also have three methods: miscible phase flotation, which is evidence is flooded with water, then the accelerant comes to the top, and extraction takes about 3 hours. So the product of this synthesis serves as the blueprint determining how the follow-up investigation is to be conducted. Next is discuss the methods and procedures for conducting building or structural fire investigations. So we have 7 methods and basic methods that we follow in um, examining the fire scene physically or structurally. So first is recognizing the problem. The first step of recognizing the problem or the fire has occurred is to determine origin, cause, and responsibility. Next is definition of or defining the problem. But in here we conduct a thorough investigator. Our investigator must conduct a thorough investigation with all available information collected from people. And next one is collecting data. It includes documentation. Dito na papasok yung reports, photographs, and collection of physical evidences. And next is yung analyzing data, inductive reasoning, and ito na, andito na yung papasok yung brainstorming natin, and dito na papasok, dito na ma-apply mga training and experiences natin na ma-analyze natin yung pattern ng ating structural damage ng area na yun. And next is developing hypothesis. So an investigator may express his or her opinion about the origin, cause, and responsibility of the fire incident. So, and next one is proving the hypothesis, and dito na papasok yung deductive reasoning na natin, and yun na, and based on the facts and scientific data that has been developed. So yun, we have 6 methods. Then when we talk about the procedure that we follow in we have 4 steps that we follow. Is while waiting for a fire alarm, and then upon receipt of the alarm, while en route of the fire scene, and upon arrival of the fire scene. So yeah, so we go to the next question. So next is discuss the proper procedure for gathering and preservation of physical evidence at the fire scene. Or in gathering of physical evidences in fire scene, the search is conducted in the area of fire, or crime scene to uncover any physical evidence which will determine the facts of the fire, identify the criminal or person's responsibility, aid in the arrest and conviction of such persons responsible, and basic methods of searching in any criminal investigation. So meron tayong grid method, spiral method, strip or line search method, and quadrant or zone method. So last question is identify and discuss the laws of arson covering incidentaries in the Philippine setting, including destructive arson. So in arson in the Philippines, it is or also called the PD, Presidential Decree number 1613, or arson. So arson is any person who burns or sets fire to the property of another shall be punished by prison mayor. And also we have destructive arson, which the penalty of reclusion temporal in its maximum period of reclusion perpetua shall be imposed if the property burned in is any of the following. So in first is any ammunition factor and other establishment where explosives, inflammable or combustible materials are stored, and any archive or museum, whether public or private, or any edifice devoted to culture, education, or social services, and any church of place of worship, other building where people usually assemble. The fourth one is any train, airplane, and aircraft, vessel, watercraft, conveyance for transportation of persons, of property. The next one is any building where evidence is kept uh, for use in any legislative, judicial, and administrative or other official proceedings, and any hospitals, hotel, dormitory, housing, tenement, shopping center, public or private market, theater or movie house, or any similar place of building. And last one is any building, whether used as dwelling or not, situated in populated or congested area. So that's all. Thank you, sir.